Hi, and thanks so much for joining me for this exciting collaboration on the Chantecaille Hummingbird collection. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Thanks to those of you who are returning viewers, and thanks to those of you who are coming over from Michelle's channel. Welcome. This is an exciting video for me because Michele is one of my favorite YouTubers and Chantecaille is one of my favorite makeup companies. So if you don't already know Michele, I'm just going to talk about her a little bit before we get into the products. She's one of the most tenacious YouTubers I know. If she knows something new is coming, she'll show up at the door of the store, pick it up that day, make a video, and post it that day. Sometimes she'll post twice a day. I believe she posts 5 times a week on luxury makeup. Her growth has been quite amazing, but it is because of her hard work, her determination, and her laser-like focus on all things new beauty. So I'm really excited to see what she has next. And I know this year she's really close to 100,000, so I know she's gonna meet that this year, but just beyond that, I'm excited to see. But she is one of those people that I think regardless of whatever she pursues, she's going to be successful at it. So make sure to go see her if you have not already. So in addition to beauty, she's got brains and so much other knowledge around other things because this is not her first job by any means. She has background in other areas, including things like tech, and I told her she should start a YouTube production class. I would totally take it because there's so many things I've learned along the way from her that had I known about that earlier, would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of heartache. So if you were starting a YouTube channel or thinking about it, I would definitely tune into the podcast she had recently done. I'll link it below. She gives a lot of great information, especially for people who are starting in terms of equipment and lighting, and some things that I still would like to do to my channel based on what she talked about. So yeah, she's a wealth of knowledge in not just beauty, but lots of other things. So one of the things I go to her channel most about is that she is very honest and thorough in her reviews. If there is something she doesn't like, she doesn't hold back. She will tell you exactly why it didn't work for her, and really has informed a lot of my purchases in terms of what I should save my money on based on her experience. I really appreciate that about her. So of course I will link her video below if you have not already seen it. Please make sure you see her video, follow her on Instagram, and subscribe to her on YouTube if you have not already. Let's get into the Chantecaille products, starting with this powder. First of all, I am not someone who's typically taken by packaging. In fact, if you watch my videos, I skip, I don't even talk about the packaging, and I realize like, oh, that's kind of part of the allure of luxury beauty is the packaging. But in this case, I was just wowed by it, and it's very colorful, which is also not my thing, but it's just so, I'm holding this the wrong way, but it's just so beautiful and tasteful even though it's colorful like this. This is the powder and it's embossed. It has a beautiful pattern on it. I think Michele mentioned that their bronzer also has this pattern on it, and I've used it a couple of days already, and it's still, you can see, maintained that pattern. So this is supposed to be a universal powder that blurs imperfections and kind of has a filter-like effect. So really beautiful texture on this. And then we've got the eyeshadow quad. It's the warm version. So Michele had asked me which one I wanted to pick up. I think she picked up both. So she graciously offered me a choice and I picked the warm. So again, you've got the beautiful hummingbird here. These are the shades. You have one matte here and the rest have some level of shimmer, but what I find interesting is that they are different levels of shimmer in order to build that texture when you layer them. I thought that was really innovative of them in the way that they constructed this. So we'll be trying all of these shades on as well. And of course, Michele will be doing the cool version of this. So you'll get to see the warm version on me and the cool version on her. Then we'll be trying on this Lip Chic, and it is in the shade Coral Belle. There are 4 shades and Michele picked up one, I picked up one. So you'll at least get to see half of those. And let's go ahead and just get into application and we'll talk about all the details at the end. We'll just start with the powder. I have the Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Foundation in 040 and also the Hourglass Concealer in Apricot. Let's go ahead with this powder. I just have a Ray Morris brush. I'm going to powder under the eyes and the rest of my face. Usually I will apply it on one side first just so you can see. Forgot, but I'll try and apply more here so maybe we can see a difference. I'm also going with my buffing brush, Kevyn Aucoin, and just buffing it in on the edges here where I don't have as much powder, and then I can just kind of push it into the front part of my face because I have more pores right here. I find that if I sweep right on top of my concealer, it sweeps the concealer away, so I just like to press it in and then I'll buff it out. Okay, so we can kind of see a difference between both sides of the face. You can see it doesn't add much color or take away color on my skin. The universal piece of this works on me because it's winter and I'm much more fair in the winter. I don't know how this would work in the summer, but right now it's stunning. I like that I can kind of add layers to this without it adding texture. I find that any powder that has a little bit of shimmer in it, the more I add on, the worse the texture looks. And that's one thing I noticed with this. It doesn't emphasize texture. That's kind of a unique aspect of this powder that I haven't encountered with other powders. Okay, so super quick. I think it is very perfecting. As you can see, it just kind of took a bit of that shine down, but left a radiance on my skin. Let's go ahead to the eye colors. I love a good foundation, especially powder. Powder is kind of transformative for me because of the issues I deal with on my skin, discoloration, and then I've got the pores right there where the discoloration is. So if I can find a really great powder, then I am really excited about that. Eyes to me are like the fun part of makeup. Let's go in with this, and this is just fun. As you can see, I've been playing with it. I'm going to go in with a Ray Morris fluffy brush here, the matte color. This is kind of an interesting combination because there are 3 shimmers and 1 matte. So it's not set up the typical way I'm used to on a palette. So I'm just going to put this all over my lid. This is a Ray Morris number 7.5. A little goes a long way on this. And this is one of those colors that I think I will actually hit pan on because it's such a great one color eyeshadow, kind of like the Tweed palette, the caramel that I mentioned in my favorites by Victoria Beckham. That is a color I would definitely use up as well. If I can see myself just putting this on and some mascara and being done, I think I would buy this palette just for this one color. Okay, let's go in with some other fun ones. First I'm gonna take though this Ray Morris, it's a 6.5, but I just use this to kind of buff in and fix the edges here. When I go anywhere above the crease, I have a little bit of an issue right here where it doesn't blend as well, so this helps. So I think this provides just a nice dimension to the eyes before you go in with the shimmer. I'm going to go in with a flat brush and take this color all over the lid. This one has that more duochrome type of finish on it, but of all the colors, this really reminds me of a hummingbird's wings. I think they definitely got it on this shade in particular. As you can see it right there, it's just so pretty. Now the shimmer on this appears a bit more visible than the highlight color that I'm going to put on in a moment. So out of all 3 levels, this one has like the medium shimmer. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. And it's a bit of like a sheer wash, so it doesn't totally, I mean, you can build it up, but it doesn't totally cover the color that I already have underneath as the base. I'm gonna take the highlight color, this one right here, which I would think that would be the highlight color, but this one is right here. I'm gonna tap that on to the middle part of my eye. This one's a little bit more of a gold, but what happens with the layering is that it does really start to look like the effect of hummingbird wings, because depending on the way the light catches the wings, you see different colors, you see different almost textures in there, and different levels of shimmer. So we live in a place where there are a lot of hummingbirds, so I get to see them visit all the time. I often take them in slow motion on my camera, so I'm used to seeing hummingbird wings. So I'm going to take a little bit of that highlight and just put it on the inner corner as well. Okay, next up, we're going to take the liner color, which is this unexpected like steel grayish color. That has the most visible particles in it, and not something I would typically pick. It does have a sheerness about it though that I like, especially for daytime. Now this, as I apply it, has a bit of fallout, so just be careful. I would recommend applying this before foundation. Yeah. But once you get it kind of on in its initial, it doesn't really have that much in terms of fallout after that. I wore this yesterday just to kind of practice and play around before I did this today, and I watched for that and I didn't see it continually dropping. So just on this initial, be careful. If you actually do your foundation first like I did, just be prepared to sweep away any possible fallout. So yeah, this is probably the most unexpected part of the palette, I would not have used this as a liner type color, or even like deepening it on the edges. But I think it looks really pretty together. It's a nice contrast to the warmth. I'm gonna go in the waterline, tight line, and put some mascara on and probably some blush, and I'll be right back. Okay, back with mascara. I just added Charlotte Tilbury Barbarella Brown in the waterline. I tight lined with it, and then on the bottom, I put a little bit of the Mulholland Drive by NARS. It has a bit of reflective quality that reminded me of one of the colors in the eyeshadow palette, so that's why I put it right there in the waterline. Did I say mascara? Mascara. If you haven't seen my luxury project pan, I'm trying to use up the Givenchy, this one, this mascara, so that's what I have on. It's in black and it's beautiful. I love it, but it just takes too long to apply. But when you take time to apply it, it looks really beautiful on. Next, we're going in with the lip. This is in Coral Belle. There are 4 shades to this. And I loved the one Michelle had on today. I watched her video this morning, and she has honeysuckle, I believe. Really pretty. Like, I would love that one too. This one provides a pop of color. I think it really wakes up everything. And I don't wear like light pink colors. Are kind of hard for me to wear, so this is probably the closest to like a light pinkish. I think it's more like a bubblegum pink on me, even though it's a corally color, just because of my particular coloring. It looks more pink on. I like it because it looks really fresh, it's lightweight, and yeah, the formula is beautiful. Let's go ahead and talk about the powder first. So I love a good powder for setting. I love the Charlotte Tilbury one, and then I go ahead and I finish up with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, usually in Radiant Light. But this has a little bit of luminosity to it. So I recently also purchased a Chanel powder that has a little bit of luminosity, but it doesn't work well on the center of my face. This one, however, works well on all parts of my face, except maybe for the eyes. I don't know if I would choose it for the eyes. So this one though, what I like about it the most is that I can put a few layers on and kind of build it up without it bringing out texture. So I have texture right in the middle of my face, especially right here. My pores are pretty prominent when I put makeup on, not as much when I have no makeup on, but I have some discoloration there. So I'm adding concealer and then on top of that powder. So if I add too much powder, even though I'm trying to still kind of cover it up and correct it a little bit, what can happen is those pores get emphasized. Now with this product, that did not happen. I was able to add, I don't know if you noticed or if I included it as much, but I kept going in with a buffing brush and just kind of pressing it in, and it didn't result in that kind of raised texture that can happen, and those pores get emphasized, especially if there's a little bit of reflection in there. This one did a really nice job of keeping everything smooth and perfecting at the same time. So I really appreciated that about this powder. I did powder under my eyes as well. Let me just take a look again. I don't know if I would choose this as my powder for under eye though. I would probably still go with my Charlotte Tilbury, but for the rest of my face, it just looks so beautiful, and I can see it on the camera. It's reflecting a little bit. It's a really fine kind of reflective quality. So this Perfect Blur Finishing Powder says that it is a long-lasting gel powder infused with a special combination of optically correcting pearls, and I can tell it has that because it looks like I have a filter on, and blurring spheres to filter out perfections. So what I noticed too is that it is very lightweight. I love that about it. So I haven't used any of their powders before, so I'm really impressed with this. And I feel like maybe I need to get another one of this just in case I run out, because I feel like I'm gonna hit pan on this. This could be a game changer for me in terms of not doing a two-step, because again, I do a setting powder and then a finishing powder. I feel like I could use this for just setting all together and not finishing up with a finishing powder. We'll have to see how it goes, so I really want to test it out. If not, I would just use the Charlotte Tilbury in a thin layer and then apply this on top because I like the effect. But right now it looks really great, so I'm going to watch it in terms of time and see how well it does. But really impressed with this one. And in terms of it being universal, because there is only the one shade, I feel like if I was any deeper, I'm not sure about that, but I am lighter in the winter, so I'm able to access things that are universal shades a little bit easier. So we'll watch that too as the summer months come up and see how well that works. But right now, I'm loving that. I feel like that's what I'm gonna wear tomorrow and the following day and the following day and the following day on my face. But again, I think I would just choose a different powder to set under the eyes. Okay, so on to the eyeshadow. This is not something I would normally go for. I'm not a shimmery, glittery kind of eyeshadow person. I like mattes, but I feel like with this one, it's so beautifully executed. It is classy at the same time as being fun, which is something I don't typically do. I don't do like fun makeup. I do things that are more classic, but this one is just so beautiful. I think because it's got a sheerness about it that helps. I think that this very finely milled shimmer on the highlighting color is beautiful. I think I did not expect the this one to work very well for me, but it does. It just picks up the light really beautifully and reflects it, and I think that because it is sheer, if I was going to use this for evening, I think I would probably put on an eyeliner as a base and build on top of that just to get a little bit more drama. But I feel like this is very daytime appropriate. And I love this. Again, I think I would hit pan on this one and use this one over and over and over again. But I like that it is a very springtime light feeling about it and still interesting. I think the way they did the shimmers are different than other shimmers I've seen out there because you do have that dimension. It really mimics a hummingbird's wings. I was looking at it like, wow, as I was putting it on, how beautiful it looked. For a non-glittery fan to like this, it has to be really good. So it is really good. I love the formula. My lips are typically chapped, so this is something I would put on in the morning if I was in a rush, or actually more likely this will end up in my handbag because it's so easy to apply and reapply during the day. I don't need a mirror. The color's on the sheer side, so it doesn't have to be as exact, and I don't require a mirror to apply it. I can just apply it and it will look good. Yeah, I cannot recommend these products highly enough. If I was going to pick one product, even though it's not as exciting, it would be the powder, because I love face products and I love to try to perfect the skin as much as possible. And that does it without looking heavy or powdery. And it just, I don't have a finish like this. The Guerlain Meteorites is a very ethereal but more visible kind of finish. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders, those are beautiful too. They have more of a filtering, but they are still more visible than this. I really rely on powder, so that is like a serious kind of workhorse for me. So for me to rely on one powder to do that job says quite a bit. And then after that, this eyeshadow, beautiful, beautiful. I'm really curious to see how the cool shade looks on Michele. I'm sure it looks beautiful. I think in her video today, she was wearing it, so she's gonna apply it tomorrow, which is today. Sorry, today is Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. And then this lip product. You can't go wrong with their lip products. I have a couple of them, and I've not had a fail from Chantecaille yet, have I? The only fail I had is that I was color matched incorrectly on the foundation, but that was not the product's fault. It was just an inaccurate recommendation, I think. But other than that, Chantecaille, again, I think they did a stellar job with this. I did order it though off of their website, and that was the only thing that was like the hiccup. It took a long time for shipping. So it took about 2 weeks between the time I ordered it to the time I received it. And it's Sunday today, and Michele and I had been planning this, and it arrived on Friday, so it almost didn't arrive on time. Aside from that, I think that the eyeshadow I just looked up is a pre-order, so I'm not sure what happened, it being available to not being pre-order again. Oh, there's my husband's home. But just know that if you order it from the company, it might take a little while. I think that's all I wanted to say. Please make sure to go see Michele's video if you haven't already seen it, to check out the cool color and also honeysuckle on her and hear her thoughts on everything. I think it'll be interesting to see the powder on her too. Even though we have similar skin tones, we are not the same shades at all in foundation, so you want to see how that looks on her as well. I believe she's a bit lighter than me. Yeah, but definitely go and check hers out to see how everything looks on her as well. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.